Kurt was on a quest to gather supplies for the upcoming winter festival, Yule time. His cheap brother-in-law Andy had invited him and his family to the guild hall for the celebrations, so that he could save coin on the food and the drink. Kurt's wife Julianne had a dream to go to the halls for a big feast, so Kurt would do anything to make that happen. He ran out of Baboon City to get the supplies they needed for the feast: rum, herbs and meat. This was his time to shine, his time to do good for the family, his time to be a hero. Morning had come to the Rum Brothers camp. Kurt had recharged himself and was ready to begin again. Just a quick breakfast, and then on Worth. Next on his list was herbs, and they had to come from Cunny Curries. Her trading post was a good hike away, but there was a place he wanted to stop before he got there. So he began his epic quest once again. He did not stop for anything. Local holy men did not get his attention. Used wagon traders saw him run by.
Best deal in the lands.
And even exotic dancers could not get him to stop.
Give me dancers some loving.
You see, the reason for his tunnel vision had nothing to do with his quest. Well, maybe some. But the big reason was he wanted to pay his respects to his hero, the mighty Preben. The mightiest of them all, Preben, a hero so mighty that a whole religion had spawned out of his stories. This was where he fell, in a mighty battle, with an even mightier beast. Many went to his tomb in Baboon City to honor him. The true story of this mighty hero was actually that he was only a bearer for Lord Yes, and died 2 hours into his service. But even though Kurt knew this, he saw Preben, as many others did, as the one true hero of these lands. A man who had nothing, did nothing, was now talked about all over the exile lands. After some good drinking and honoring of his hero, Kurt had to move on. Cunny's camp was still... Hey, why did you stop? Oh, I see. You need a break. Well, take 5 then. Later that day, his quest took him through the settlement known as the Riverbed Lands. Lord Carlos was the warden here, the only other major settlements of the B.O.U.P lords that had a harbor. It was a spectacular place, but Kurt did not linger long. He just kept running. Right until he reached Lord Pax's Boulder City. Even though he was on a quest, he still needed fuel to keep going. And this was taken in the famous Boulder City bar, the Dubliners' old pub. Right before he took off, there was another place he desperately had to visit. Glad you got that out of your system. Right before he left Boulder City, he tipped the guard outside the city gate. Why he did this, well, only he can answer that. Then he was ready to go. Nighttime had come around. It was not a good idea to be outside at this hour of the day, so he decided to find shelter. Startstad was the first settlement the B.O.U.P lords made when they first came here. And Kurt knew that the Order of Sankt Preben had a monastery there where he could spend the night. He was close to Cunny's camp, but it made no sense for him to go there now. First, it was night and too dangerous. Second, she did not open before morning. So go to bed, get up early, and move out. When morning came around, he flew out of his bed and headed for Cunny's camp. Right before he left Startstad, he again tipped a guard, for no reason whatsoever. On his way, he found the time to show off his muscles for a local Dafari tribe.
Look at this funny man. What's he playing at? Let's eat him.
No, let him go. He looks too greasy.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, Julianne had arrived at the guild hall. She was very happy to see her brother again. It had been a long time since last they were together. Andy had a different feeling. He thought they saw way too much of one another, but he also thought about gold. Oh, so much gold saved. Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru had also come. They used to live in the deep desert with their son, Freddie. He developed a drinking problem and began to get visions of skywalking. Now they lived in Plainstown, and Freddie had joined the Order of Sankt Preben. Their task for the celebrations was to bring presents for everyone, especially Andy. He was the host, after all. The Dust Bowl, home to Lord Hellfire. This settlement is known through the lands as a place where you can come and forget all your problems. Very special herbs are grown here, and once a year, Lord Hellfire and his staff nib into these herbs and party all night long. This day was the morning after such a day, so all was very quiet. The special herbs of the Dust Bowl was the reason Cunny Curry had her camp here. At her shop you could buy every herb and spice known to man, even some only known to women. Cunny had, like the Rum Brothers, worked with Julianne before Kurt came into the picture. He often wondered on what they all did together, but had learned over the years not to ask too many questions. Questions gave him a sore jaw. Kurt arrived at her camp after what he thought was an endless journey. He flashed some coin and got all the herbs he needed. Now he only needed to get the meat. And then he saw it. An unguarded horse. He had been on the move for days now, on foot no less. And Michelangelo's settlement was all the way up in the north. Running there would take a long time. Riding would not. So he made a quick decision. Stealthy as an assassin, he snuck in and stole the horse. No more running for this man. And as he rode off, out of the settlement came Lord Hellfire. He always took a ride in the morning to clear his head. He saw Kurt riding off with his horse, and all he could do was to try and catch him. It was a doomed effort. Kurt was long gone. All he could do was to curse this horse thief all the way to the deepest layers of hell itself. His loving horse gone, he had no guards to send after it. They were still sleeping it off in their barracks. Kurt was off to Michelangelo's settlement. Had he looked back, he might have seen the mysterious stranger coming to Cunny's camp.
Kurt went out in the snow, his bow strung tight, let's go. Hunting dinner for the feast, jingle bells echo east. Lost in the pines so deep, cold wind began to creep. Snowflakes started to twirl, lost boy in a white swirl. Kurt out in the wood, trying to do what he should. Christmas night, oh so near, found a friend in a deer. Deer stood tall, his breath white, eyes so soft in the night. Led Kurt through forest wide, warmth awaited inside. Kurt out in the wood, trying to do what he should. Christmas night, oh so near, found a friend in a deer. No more fear in the dark, love and light left a mark. Deer and boy side by side, on a wintry joyride. Ooh. Deer stood tall, his breath white, eyes so soft in the night. Led Kurt through forest wide, warmth awaited in deer. No more fear in the dark, love and light left a mark. Deer and boy side by side, on a wintry joyride. Oh.
Come on, fella, give me dancers some loving.